300 years. I said 300. The island of Barbuda is empty. That's right. I said empty. There is not a single solitary human being living there. About 1,700 people were evacuated from Barbuda to Antigua in the aftermath of Hurricane Irma. That girl, Jesus have mercy. After the storm, structure after structure was flattened, according to Ronald Sanders, the Antigua and Barbuda ambassador. It's a humanitarian disaster. I don't know if you guys have seen footage. Have you seen footage? Well, there you go. You can see some of the island, but it's a really small place. You hear how many people were there, 1,700. But to each and every person that was there, it was home.
Absolutely.
And it's flat. It's literally flat.
I went to school with Wade from Barbuda in Cuba, and I remember we always used to laugh about, you know, the islands, and we would speak about Jamaica and our population, and he'd sit down there quietly and say, well, at the time in 2001 or thereabout, he was like, you know, we're just 1,500.
Oh,
and I said, 1,500,
that's
what?
it?
He said, everybody knows everybody on the island, everybody goes to the same school, and
that's the population of Immaculate.
It hurts my heart. It hurts my heart, and I can't imagine getting up one day and not having anything. Everything that you've owned, you've worked hard for.
And that's one of the things why people have such an issue evacuating when they say, you know, evacuation is mandatory. Because what do you take with you? What do you take if they say you have half an hour to get out your house, or you have a day to get out your house? What are you going to take? Are you going to try and lift up your TV? Are you going to try and get all the memories off the walls? What are you going to take? And so their entire lives have been literally ripped from them by this hurricane. Let me say, Irma, we don't like you.
Yeah,
Irma.
she was on a mission, but I certainly hope that all of the citizens will try to get on their feet as much as possible, and we hope that they will get help from neighboring communities and, you know, the rest of the Caribbean.
We can help, it would be good. So if you feel moved, let's find a way, eh?
Absolutely. Gosh. Chrisanne Clark, the woman who captured the Trenchtown rescue video, wants to be credited. She says if it wasn't for her, no one would ever know what happened, and she would like to be recognized for it. In an interview with The Star, Chrisanne said she wasn't seeking monetary compensation. She just wants persons who post the video on social media to credit her.
I have a question. Are your company really interview her and put that pen?
No, let us explain. Our company.
May I disassociate myself with that?
No, well, listen, the thing is that everybody has a side, everybody has a story, and we give them that platform. No, she legitimately contacted us and said, I am the person behind this video, and if it wasn't for us, the story would be floating in
And you did what then, Terry?
I work in the Gleaner online. But we did her story, and I think what comes out of this is because she's not the only person stepping forward. I think, guys, whether you are branders and you are rewarding the gentleman, or if you were there, I think you have to be gracious. I mean, you took a video, you know, it helped in terms of everybody spreading it, but it does not necessarily mean that you need to be credited.
The fact of the matter is,
get over yourself and keep it moving. Be gracious that your video was able to bring about the good.
And the fact of the matter is, whether or not you filmed it, he would have still been a hero because he still did it. My question, hands up. Hands up. I said it in the makeup room. Put your hand up. Whichever one of you jumped in the gully to save that little boy without a thought for your life. Please put your hands up. Anybody else? Anybody else but the gentleman who did it?
Don't speak at once now.
No, none of you did it. You actually decided that you were going to use your phone and film it. You didn't get a branch, you didn't stick it in the water, you didn't help them out, you didn't do it. Come on, let us look at the gentleman and give him his due. He didn't think of himself. Did you see the cuts and bruises and scrapes and damage to this man's body? No, guys, you don't deserve anything. I'm sorry, beat me if you want. Well, don't actually beat me. You can beat me on social media if you feel like it. But you don't.
Do it for the love. Do it for the love. Don't do it for the likes. That's all.
Girl.
Do it for the love. Be gracious. Do it for the love. Don't do it for the likes.
Come on. Thank you for the video. We appreciate the fact that you got it so that we could actually share it by seeing it. And we appreciate that. But credit?
Come on now.
We don't need that. All right, Chronic sister. All right, next up, something that's not so much to smile about. The terror threat level in the United Kingdom has been raised from severe to critical. Prime Minister Theresa May announced late yesterday following an explosion earlier on one of the city's underground trains. A major manhunt is underway in London for suspects in what the police are calling a terrorist incident. At least 29 people were injured. None of the injured are thought to be in serious or life-threatening condition, thank God. Most of the injuries appear to be the result of flash burns, according to the local authorities. The terror threat level of critical means that another attack is considered to be imminent. Why? I'm seeing too much of this lately.
After a while, I thought that, you become desensitized to the news because we see things like this happening in not just London, although it has become one of the hubs for terrorist attacks.
So.
And I realize how much it affects us and we don't even know. So I love to travel, and whenever I have the opportunity to, I do. And I find myself looking at people, being uncomfortable in my space, wanting to go over and look at something that might be taking place at Times Square, but then I'm like, maybe not, there's a crowd there, maybe I should stay away from crowds, and you realize that you start making decisions based on that. Yeah. They're actually doing it to us and we don't always know, and it's sad because London has had to deal with this back to back to back, London and France.
It makes me wonder why they have specifically chosen to concentrate on that specific place. Me don't want to know, I just want to know what is the story? Why are you doing this? I can't figure out. Maybe it's exactly what you said. Maybe they're just trying to strike fear into the hearts of the people who travel through there or live there.
It's a huge hub. I think when you look at London, it's one of the most beautiful cities. It's one of my favorite cities. It's a massive hub. A lot of immigrants are there as well. Not saying that this person, of course, has been labeled or identified as an immigrant, but it is a melting pot. It's cosmopolitan.
But you know what we have to be grateful for? There were no fatalities.
True.
Injuries,
which is why it's critical,
thank God.
Which is why it's critical.
But no fatalities, so we thank the heavens that nothing
And we hope that there won't be another one, to tell you the truth. We sincerely hope that. The world's oldest woman has passed away. 117-year-old Jamaican Violet Moss Brown became the world's oldest woman in April of this year. With her death, Japanese 117-year-old Nabi Tajima is now the oldest known human on the planet. She was born on August 4, 1900 in Japan, a few months after Moss Brown. And the reason why I was smiling is not even clearly the passing. Her passing is nothing to smile about. But when we heard about it, and she made the Guinness Book of Record, and then we saw how much love she was receiving from international media, the community, it warms my heart. But the situation and the circumstances under which she might have passed is
you can say dead left. It's
sad.
Dead left. Jamaican people are dead left.
I mean, according to reports, they said that she was in the battle. We saw it on the front page, I believe, of the Gleaner. It said snatched. And at first I didn't know what it meant. And when we read the story, it said that she was in the middle of a tug of war between the families. And I'm saying, really? She's made it to 117
and then
years.
Stress her out.
We're all celebrating her. She gets stressed. As far as I'm concerned, I'm thinking that it must have been the stress. She was snatched.
Terry, what you saying? That stress killed her? Who stressed her?
Well, yeah.
Ooh, Terry, throwing some shade.
I'm sorry, but for 117 years, she's been fine.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, she's snatched from relatives. People don't know where she is. She's taken from her home.
You know what?
She dies.
I was actually happy that you were smiling. Why? Because she's lived a fabulously long life. She's seen children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren and great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren, and she lived to see all of that. And I remember how my grandmother felt when she got to see my daughter, who was just a great, because I can just imagine how she felt. So we give thanks for her life, and it was an awesome one. So big ups to Miss Tajima over there in Japan. Let's see how long you can hold out. Let's see how long you hold out. Next up, Cabinet has approved a proposal to withdraw the 1 cent, 10 cent, 5 cent.
I was going to do it too.
10 cent. No, not the dollar. Cent, 5 cent, 10 cent, 25 cent coins from circulation. According to Information Minister Ruel Reid, the proposal to withdraw the coins came against the background of an assessment showing that the use of those denominations has been decreasing since 2005. He said that the coins that would exist after the recall would be the dollar, no, the dollar, the $5, the $10, and the $20 coins. I personally really despise the little red money.
We call it little red money. You know, we're disrespectful. The bronze money, the red money. But
red money.
And I'll even go as far as to say, you know, sometimes you have the beggars on the road, and sometimes you really don't have it.
That's it, girl.
I've seen people say, boy, you know, this is all I have, and they kind of dig through their car, and they give them this, and I've seen them go, and they dash it back. So I mean, I'm literally saying I have not seen the last time persons have saved it, used it.
I had a big buckle, one of them catching big buckle full of them, so that, and when you check it out, the things are what about money, no girl? I don't even worry about the thing that ever make it to like 3,000.
Yeah, I think logically, I think it was a good decision simply because you're producing this. It's costing money to produce this money that is not being used. So where's the value?
Here's the neggy. All of the prices on the shelf that have cents attached to it are going to have to be rounded off to the dollar. And trust me, they're not going to round it down. They're going to round it up. So, all of you wonderful
still never used to give you change anyway. You go to the supermarket and you have like a 25 cents and
I lie. Big ups to Woolworths. Big ups to Woolworths in New Kingston Shopping Center. Them always give me my red money. Big ups to you.
And what do you do with the red money?
Put another big something on Mr. Dory. Alright guys, that's it for the end of Trending Topics. We want to know what you think about today's stories. So get to us at SmileJamTVJ, and that's a wrap for the Trending Topics.
You're silly. Dollar.